Our guest in this segment is Elaine Bartoldson from EPTA. Did you have platform shoes back in the 70s?
Well, of course I did.
Who did not, right? Yeah. I see that the one thing coming back now are the wide, more bell-bottom type pants that were big like in the late 60s and 70s, right? And I see young people wearing those now. They're young people.
I think this is the third time they've come around.
Yeah.
Only we held on to those clothes, right?
Yes, yes. Well, they're vintage now. You could make a fortune selling.
When I was in high school, I had a pair of blue brushed denim bell bottoms that were so belled they would trip me.
Yeah. Some of those are like that now. Yeah. Did you didn't watch the U.S. Open over the weekend? Did you watch any of it, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I watched most of Sunday.
During the storm, they had a flashback to 2008 Torrey Pines and Tiger Woods on one leg, basically, and his comeback. And if you watch the golfers' clothing from 2008, much baggier, the shirts, the pants, right, much baggier. And then they came back for today, and it's almost like they're in skin-tight clothes with the narrow pants, the narrow legs.
That's because golfers were golfers then, and golfers are athletes now. They have personal trainers. They lift weights 5 days a week.
Body type is way different. Tiger Woods changed.
Yeah, Tiger brought that in. Everybody started.
Who was the champion golfer that had the really significant gut?
John Daly.
That's
John
right.
Daly. Not just a significant gut, but I believe he was drunk all the time too.
Big hitter, the Daly.
I can't believe you didn't ask me if I watched the Open.
Did you watch the Open?
I did.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah.
I would have been a little hurt too, Elaine. It's okay.
Yeah. Were you rooting for anybody in particular?
No.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was because it was in Pittsburgh at Oakmont, where I'm from. I thought that was a pretty compelling reason for me to watch.
Beautiful weather up there.
Have we introduced you yet?
Yeah, we did. Elaine Bartoldson,
Okay.
Eastern Panhandle Transit.
We're not going to do that twice.
Well, I don't know. I just didn't know.
Yeah. So, Elaine, let's talk about the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority. And first and foremost, how's your new facility coming along?
It's coming. We've actually June 26th was our year of the groundbreaking, and we've had some challenges with utilities, but we've come a long way in the year. We're starting to put steel up. If anybody drives by the Raleigh Ray Street property, they'll see the structure of the drive-through bus wash and the maintenance facility. So they'll move on down to storage, bus storage, which will have enough for 34 vehicles, and then we'll move forward. The admin building will start going up in the next few weeks. We'll work on footers, so yeah.
Drive-through bus wash. I like that.
Drive-through bus wash. I'll never have another dirty bus.
Or car. Can you get a car through there?
Our minivans, but yeah.
Hey, couple questions on some of the vehicles, because you have wraps on these vehicles, and
I do.
And people will often ask me, "Hey, I saw the WNR station vehicle." I'm like, that's actually not the station vehicle. People, "Hey, Rob, are you in there?" Like,
Yeah.
no, those are wraps.
You're not in the
vehicles.
vehicle, Rob?
Not in the
He
vehicle.
should. We should just cart you around.
We could do a mobile show one day.
So
you around.
interesting enough, advertising is considered local match with our federal dollars. So that's why we do that.
That's cool.
So Judy Gillester, who used to be with the Journal, is now doing that for us in her retirement. So I have a few windows left, not a lot. Judy's very good at her job.
How do they contact you to do it?
304-263-0876.
Very nice.
And then we'll connect them with Judy.
Are those monthly contracts, yearly? How do those work?
Well, we like a commitment of a year because Panhandle Printing and Design prints the ads, puts them on the vehicles for us, and then and it does cost the advertiser money, so they get their money's worth. It's better to do a minimum of a year, but we'll do as short or as long as they want.
Very good. And you have a survey you're inviting people to fill out.
Yep, we just finished our 2025 Transportation Development Plan, and we're looking to the future. When our new facility is open, this plan will realign all our routes to Race and Raleigh. We've planning some expansion with this. So instead of a 5-year period, it's going to be all done in 2026, and then they'll give us the 5 years to see where we hit the mark, where we didn't hit the mark, where we got to change a little bit. And that's why we do these plans every year with Matt Mullinex at the Hagerstown Eastern Panhandle Metropolitan Planning Organization.
That's good you got all that out.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I
Can
just
you
like to
say
say
it
MP.
twice?
No, please don't ask me again.
No.
But part of this plan will expand to Spring Mills. We're going further up into Hedgesville to the Martin's grocery store. We're going to include Saturday service in Jefferson County for the first time ever,
Wow.
which I've hoped for that for a long time. The plan right now in this realignment is budget neutral for us as far as the cost, because we'll, as Berkeley and Jefferson County grow, there's areas that used to be popular that we didn't need to serve anymore, and new areas where we do need to serve. So Spring Mills is one of those big ones because of all the everything going on up
The
there.
daily growth.
The daily growth.
Yeah.
The medical facilities between WVU Medicine and Valley Health and Walmart, and it's important.
And everything
Yeah.
up there. That's an amazing growth area.
So that survey, so everyone can see the proposed routes, and that survey is open till July 9th, so you can comment. On the plan, we are looking for future growth for Jefferson County when the Jefferson County administration moves into the APIS building next year, so that is all part of that process. So if there's something we're missing, we need to know that now.
How do you access the survey?
You can visit eptawv.com and click the link. You can see the whole TDP, or you can visit hepmpo.com and at the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and the survey's also there in the plan.
So this is not a matter of adding additional drivers, buses, and work. You're just rerouting things that are no longer as necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Smart use of your facilities.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and it's great that we're budget neutral, right? And making these changes, because it's important that we receive federal funding for operating and capital assistance. And while the federal funding continues to increase, we can't access that without local match, and the local match becomes more and more difficult.
What is your percentage of local match to federal match?
So our through the municipalities, we get just about $400,000 to $1.6 million in federal dollars. The rest of that is made up with contract revenue between Shepherd University, Harpers Ferry National Park, non-emergency medical transportation. So is it a budget that you say, here's what we need to do, here's how much we need, or do they say, here's how much money you get, figure out what you can do with it? Yep.
That's the second one.
Yeah. So the federal allocation is based upon the ridership in the state of West Virginia, and then the state is allocated specific funds through the Federal Transit Administration, and then there's a formula that dictates how much, as a small urban, EPTA gets, Morgantown, all those, Charleston, Huntington, Wheeling.
And is there still a connection with Mark Rail in regards to transporting
people?
We
are still, we've seen ridership increase. We are still traveling to Brunswick 2 trips in the evening to pick up riders when those MARC trains stop and do not come into Martinsburg. So the early train and the late train.
Okay. What are your cost ranges for riding EPTA?
$2 to $3.50 for full ride. If you are 60 and over or have a disability, we have a medical form that you can have signed by a medical professional, and then that cuts $1 to $1.75 half fare.
All right. If you get a monthly pass, is it less, or a yearly pass?
So
whatever?
monthly passes are $60 full fare and $30 half fare.
So the federal workers, I guess, having to go back to work has added to your ridership coming out of Brunswick.
Yeah, it's steadily increasing. So
what is, just percentage-wise, where are we compared to where we were 3 or 4 years ago? Percentage of riders more?
Significantly less. We used to transport 5,000 MARC riders pre-pandemic, and then now we're 1,500.
How about overall? How's
overall,
the
our
usage?
ridership is up. Last year, we attained our highest ridership ever of 265,000. So that's pre-pandemic, and it took us several years to get here, right? A little bit at a time, but we are, So we're really excited about that.
Where are you looking? Say 3 years, 5 years. Where do you think the ridership will be? I know you predict stuff in the future.
Well, I'm hoping we're hitting 500,000 riders. That would be that would be the perfect scenario, right? So, Yeah. We're going to, hopefully with these new routes, we're going to go to areas where people want to go, where people can access, employment. The new route going up to Hedgesville will hit Macy's, Quad, FedEx every hour now during the day. So instead of just going in there a couple times a day. So we're excited about that. And I think that that'll help them out as well.
Do these companies, do they chip in or pay to have more services to help get their employees to and from work?
No.
Okay.
Straight out, no. It would be tremendous if they could see the advantage to having employees being able to, through the employer, buy monthly passes to work. And then we just bill the organization and they take it out of their payroll check or however they want to do it. It would be tremendous. EPTA does have a back to work program or a work program. It's called Get a Job, Get a Ride. And if you have not used the program before, we're going to give you 20 round trips to get to and from work. And the only thing we ask is that your potential employer send us the information and we'll provide you with a month's worth of transportation. So number one, you can get to your work. You're going to be reliable to your new employer. And then hopefully a month will give you time to save some money and buy that monthly pass to get to work.
Are there any, are there any programs maybe that you guys could take advantage of through Workforce or something like that that might reimburse you for part of that?
So we do work with Telemon and DHHR
Okay.
and those. So it's considered Farebox, which is not local match, but yeah, we do work with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Gilstrap.
I'm just on your website here, and I am not a bus person. Never have been a bus person, so I'm kind of going. And I'm also not a longtime West Virginian. So when someone gets dropped off at the Big Lots on that route, and they want to be 4 miles from there, is there built into the system a smaller taxi service? How do they do that? How does that? Or is that just up to
Big
them?
Lots, I mean, so we have a mobile app called Passio Go, so they can see where the bus is and when it's coming to Big Lots, and it'll.
Will you do stops along the way?
We do stop. We're a flag system, so anyone can stop us anywhere along the way.
Okay.
As long as it's safe for my drivers to stop, we're considered a deviated fixed route transit system with demand response service.
Can people wave you down on the street as they go by?
As long as it's safe to stop my drivers.
You got a lot of long things you have to say. Can you do that deviated thing again? What was it?
Well, there's a difference between a deviated fixed route system or a fixed route system. A fixed route system has to offer complementary paratransit, and a fixed route system is timed. Your NTD, we report every year, you have to do your on-time performance. A deviated fixed route means I'm a flag system and I can travel 3/4 of a mile off route to pick somebody up who cannot navigate to the bus stop. So our on-time performance is important, but it's not.
It's secondary.
It's secondary, right.
Yeah. So you get on the bus, you cash, credit card, what?
We have a mobile ticketing app called Token Transit. We have cash. We can buy paper tickets. And yesterday at our board meeting, we're going to move to a system with S-Traffic by the end of the year where you'll be able to tap your credit card on the bus.
The easiest way is to go on your website and just get a pass that'll prepay it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then just show them on your phone.
Are there monthly passes?
Yes.
What is roughly what does that run?
So full fare is $60 a month, and that's unlimited trips on the routes, and half fare is $30. Yeah.
Nice. That's not bad at all.
Are you still looking for drivers?
We're always looking for drivers.
You were in crisis mode a few years ago.
Yeah, we're not necessarily in crisis mode right now, but as my workforce ages and we need to bring in new drivers, So we're always looking. Demand response, minivan drivers.
If you got,
non-CEO.
if you need somebody after about 10:30, Rob's free then.
Usually about noon.
About noon.
Yeah. About 12 o'clock is when I leave here.
We could fit you in.
Yeah, just leave a bus out front. I'll just pick people up on my way home.
I'll send you out in the WR&R van. How's that?
Yeah, if you need anybody along the way here on Eagle School, 45 to Shepherdstown, anybody needs to go to Shepherd, I could thank them.
There you
Can
go.
you imagine Rob announcing the stops, though, with that radio voice? That'd be great.
It would be great, but we have automatic voice announcements. So as we get to a bus stop, the bus will tell you what stop.
I
we're
could do it like a celebrity tour. You know, it would be downtown Martinsburg. That tall gentleman to your left is Johnny the Bod, Jonathan Bodwell. Over here to your
That
right
would
is
be
the
great.
Gilstrap Estate. You'll notice the guard dogs out front.
We'll put you on the trolley and let you do that.
Yeah, I get all kind of
With
possibilities.
the old New York subway system. What do you
What do you say? What do you say? I used to like on the Metro in D.C. You got that one guy had the best voice. I'd be on the Red Line to Shady Grove all the time. Red Line to Shady Grove. Red Line to Shady Grove. I always got that guy.
Yeah. Well, I encourage you to get on the bus. If you wanna get on, go to Walmart or the train station, and we'll get you.
You
on
know,
the bus
I
for a
live
loop.
off Scrabble Road along the river in Berkeley County.
In a van.
Where's my nearest bus stop? I don't.
Back in civilization. back.
I'd have
with
to
the,
hike. I'd have to hike a while to get to the nearest bus
It's
stop.
back with the. Back
I'd
with
have
the-
to drive
They
to the
kill
bus
their own
stop.
food back there.
Yeah,
I have to drive to the bus stop, and then that just seems inefficient.
but it'd be back where the proletariat lived.
Yeah.
The working class.
It would be a good experience for you.
I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah.
He's up on the hill. He's got height. He's got
Yeah.
the advantage up there. Yeah. Elaine Bartoldson is our guest here from the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority. So what changed with the drivers? I know there was a big threat from other jobs like Amazon and whatever in the
It's
past.
just kind of quieted down. I'm not sure, and we're not seeing the turnover we had. So I think that's great, and people are settling in.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Right. You mentioned the municipal match. Municipal means city, from the way
City
I
and
interpret
county,
it.
yeah.
So, does the county do the same match as the city?
So Berkeley and Jefferson County do considerably more. City of Martinsburg, Ranson, Charlestown, Boulevard, Harpers Ferry are all municipalities that support us. Part of the new TDP and new route system is Ranson is kind of going all in and requesting a circulator down there. So that's part of the
Because of their
plan
growth?
because of the growth and
A circulator.
a circulator that stays right in Ranson and Charlestown that they're gonna we're gonna do a pilot program.
It's like a city bus, basically,
Yeah,
right?
and they're gonna and they'll be able to make the local match with that.
When will that start?
Well, barring that we get confirmation from Ranson that the funding is there, it will be when we move into the new facility.
Okay. And do you get a state match as well?
We do not receive state money.
Is that because the state doesn't contribute to any transit around the state, or just here in the Eastern Panhandle?
So the state generally does not set aside money for public transit. We have in the multimodal facilities in Charleston, there is a public transit division, and they receive a line item on the budget, but that's for operating and managing the rural agencies' funding. Usually the small urbans, which there's 7 of us, do not receive any funding. Now this year, Governor Morrissey did set aside small amount of money in his budget for public transit, but we don't know how those funds are going to be used, and that's the first time ever we've been a line item. So I applaud him for that.
That's an improvement.
Yeah.
Right? When you say small amount of money, any idea what that is? 100,000?
Yeah, a
500,000?
little under. No, a little under that.
And that's to be divided if it's distributed among the 7 of you?
No, you have to. There's 18 agencies in West Virginia, and the rest of them are rural. And I believe that they're probably going to go towards more rural than the small urbans.
So everybody can get a ham sandwich and a small bag of chips.
But it is a start.
It is a start.
No, it is.
Yeah,
humble
it's
beginnings.
very
Once
important.
Because once it gets in there, it is very important. Once it gets in there, it's the state showing and the governor showing that, hey, we don't have a lot of money right now. We're being fiscally conservative, but we understand you guys need help and that you're providing a good service.
And I think our current association president, Paula Smith, who is a rural manager, has worked really hard this last year to bring public transit to the forefront of this new administration. and really telling the story that, in neighboring states as Maryland and Virginia, the states do those local matches for public transit. And instead of us, scrounging for every penny we need to get, that includes the rules. They're responsible for their own local match to the federal funding as well. So we all fight to make sure that we have those operating funds.
You mentioned that the federal funding has actually been increasing in a time where we're hearing about decreasing federal funding. Do you anticipate a change to that, or is this money already projected and accounted for in the next fiscal year?
Well, we're still in that IIJA era where the bucket of money was planned out. So it just depends 2027 what's going to happen. I think it is realized that public transit is a form, not only is it people that are transit dependent, but it's individuals who choose to ride transit that makes public transit valuable.
I gotta ask. I'm familiar with the Paleozoic era, but what is the IJAA era?
Oh my gosh. If Matt Mullix was here, he'd be able to tell you that. But it's a Jobs Act.
I know.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So we just kind of take every year as it comes and see what happens. We've been very fortunate.
I was more of a Mesozoic era guy, but that's okay.
Public transit
Pleistocene was great.
Pleistocene rules.
As we grow, it becomes even more important.
Yes.
Because there are more and more people who need to get to work, who need to use public transportation.
As it grows, but as seniors want to age in place.
Right.
And, and I have a father who's 89 years old, and my brother and I have this discussion all the time. He shouldn't be driving as much as he should, and that he does not want to leave his house. So, we encourage him to use that system in Jamestown, New York, where he is. So,
I grew up in the D.C. area, and we used to I went to Bishop Ireton High School in Alexandria, and we used to take metro buses before we were old enough to drive. We took we took the subway and the bus to school and back. Public transportation is very important.
Elaine, once again, 30 seconds. How can you get access to the survey you're looking for folks to fill out?
EPTAWV.com, and it's right on the front page of our website, the link in the study, and you can visit HEPMPO.com for the Metropolitan Planning Organization's website, and it is also there with a lot of other great studies that Matt is doing around the area right now. We just held a public meeting for the Edwin Miller Boulevard safety plan. So
all the things you got through, and that's what you had the trouble with?
That is great.
I got there by Googling EPTA. And it's a lot easier.
APTA. Thank you, Elaine.
You're welcome.
And for Rob, you can visit NFL.com to see the information about the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers.
And on that note, we take our break right here.